In the annals of religious mythology, few figures are as mysterious and intriguing as Gog and Magog. These enigmatic entities have captured the imagination of believers and scholars alike for centuries. Their names evoke images of apocalyptic battles and end-time prophecies. But who exactly are Gog and Magog? This question has puzzled theologians, historians, and laypeople for generations. The mystery surrounding Gog and Magog is deepened by their appearance in various religious texts. They are mentioned in the Bible, the Quran, and other ancient writings. Each source seems to offer a different perspective on their identity and role. This has led to a wide range of interpretations and theories about their true nature. Throughout history, Gog and Magog have been portrayed as individuals, nations, and even supernatural beings. Some see them as symbols of evil forces that will rise up in the last days. Others interpret them as representing specific historical enemies of God's people. The diversity of views adds to the intrigue surrounding these figures. Despite centuries of study and speculation, Gog and Magog remain shrouded in mystery. Their story continues to fascinate people across different faiths and cultures. As we delve deeper into their origins and significance, we begin to unravel the complex tapestry of beliefs and traditions that have shaped our understanding of these enigmatic figures. The earliest known references to Gog and Magog can be found in ancient religious texts. In the Hebrew Bible, they appear in the book of Ezekiel. Here, Gog is described as the leader of Magog, a land or people that will wage war against Israel. This prophecy speaks of a great battle in which God will intervene to defeat Gog and Magog. The New Testament also mentions Gog and Magog, particularly in the book of Revelation. In this apocalyptic text, they are portrayed as nations that Satan will deceive at the end of the millennium. These nations will gather for battle against God's people, only to be ultimately defeated by divine intervention. In Islamic tradition, Gog and Magog, known as Ya'juj and Ma'juj, are mentioned in the Quran. They are described as two corrupt tribes that were imprisoned behind a great wall built by Dhul Qarnayn, often identified with Alexander the Great. According to Islamic eschatology, Gog and Magog will break free near the end times, causing great destruction. These ancient texts provide the foundation for our understanding of Gog and Magog. However, they also raise many questions. The varying accounts and contexts in which these figures appear have led to diverse interpretations across different faith traditions. This diversity of origins contributes to the enduring fascination with Gog and Magog. In Christianity, Gog and Magog play a significant role in end-time prophecies. Many Christians interpret them as forces of evil that will rise up against God's people in the final battle before the second coming of Christ. This interpretation is largely based on the book of Revelation, where Gog and Magog are described as nations gathered by Satan for the final confrontation. Judaism has a different perspective on Gog and Magog. In Jewish eschatology, they are often seen as enemies of Israel, who will be defeated in a great battle before the coming of the Messiah. This view is primarily derived from the prophecies in the book of Ezekiel. Some rabbinical traditions also associate Gog and Magog with specific historical enemies of the Jewish people. Islam presents yet another interpretation of Gog and Magog. In Islamic tradition, they are seen as a sign of the approaching Day of Judgment. It is believed that when Gog and Magog break free from their imprisonment, it will herald the end times. Their release is considered one of the major signs of the coming of the day of resurrection. Despite these differences, all three Abrahamic religions share a common thread in their understanding of Gog and Magog. In each tradition, these figures are associated with apocalyptic events and divine judgment. This shared theme underscores the importance of Gog and Magog in the eschatological beliefs of these major world religions. Section 4. Historical interpretations across cultures. Throughout history, various cultures have offered their own interpretations of Gog and Magog. In medieval European tradition, they were often depicted as giants or barbaric tribes from the north. This interpretation was influenced by the writings of Flavius Josephus, who associated Magog with the Scythians, a nomadic people from the Eurasian steppes. During the Crusades, some Christians identified Gog and Magog with the Muslim armies they were fighting. This interpretation reflected the political and religious tensions of the time. It also demonstrated how the concept of Gog and Magog could be adapted to fit contemporary conflicts and enemies. In Central Asian folklore, Gog and Magog were sometimes associated with the Mongol invasions. The destructive power of the Mongol armies seemed to fit the apocalyptic descriptions of Gog and Magog. This shows how historical events could shape the understanding of these mythical figures. More recently, some have interpreted Gog and Magog in light of modern geopolitics. During the Cold War, for example, some saw the conflict between the West and the Soviet Union as a manifestation of the Gog and Magog prophecy. These evolving interpretations demonstrate how the concept of Gog and Magog has been continuously reinterpreted to make sense of current events and perceived threats. Section 5. Modern Relevance and Symbolism. In the modern era, Gog and Magog continue to hold relevance in various spheres. In religious circles, they remain a subject of intense study and speculation. Many believers still look to the prophecies of Gog and Magog for insights into current world events and the future. This ongoing interest demonstrates the enduring power of these ancient symbols. Beyond religious contexts, Gog and Magog have entered popular culture. They appear in literature, art, and even video games. In these modern interpretations, they often symbolize forces of chaos or destruction. This cultural adaptation shows how ancient myths can be reinterpreted for contemporary audiences. In political discourse, the names Gog and Magog are sometimes invoked metaphorically. They may be used to describe perceived threats to a nation or civilization. This usage reflects the enduring power of these figures as symbols of existential danger. Scholars continue to debate the historical and cultural significance of Gog and Magog. Some see them as reflections of ancient fears and conflicts. Others interpret them as symbolic representations of the eternal struggle between good and evil. These ongoing discussions highlight the complex layers of meaning that have accumulated around Gog and Magog over millennia. Section 6. The Enduring Mystery of Gog and Magog. As we conclude our exploration of Gog and Magog, it becomes clear that their mystery remains largely intact. Despite centuries of study and interpretation, these figures continue to elude definitive explanation. This enduring enigma is part of what makes Gog and Magog so fascinating to people across different faiths and cultures. The multiple interpretations of Gog and Magog reflect the diversity of human belief and experience. They show how ancient symbols can be reinterpreted to make sense of new realities. In this way, Gog and Magog serve as a mirror, reflecting the fears, hopes, and conflicts of each era that attempts to understand them. Perhaps the true significance of Gog and Magog lies not in their literal identity, but in what they represent. They embody the human struggle to understand good and evil, order and chaos. They remind us of the cyclical nature of history, where threats rise and fall, but the fundamental challenges of human existence remain. As we move forward, it's likely that Gog and Magog will continue to capture our imagination. They will probably be reinterpreted yet again to fit new contexts and challenges. In this ongoing process of interpretation and reinterpretation, Gog and Magog remain a powerful symbol of humanity's quest to understand its place in the cosmos and the forces that shape our world.